Hi, I'm Captain Larry Bell with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
All right, this week we have had some warming trend going on, which is much needed for our waters and the air temp itself, just for people. And the one thing, again, people, I'm doing this year for 2021, all the trout, if anybody that fishes with me this year, all trout are to be caught and released just to continue to help with the population. Spawns coming up here is pretty critical during the springtime of the year. As these fish get ready to lay eggs, we want as many of them as we can to lay eggs, just to help our estuaries out up and down the coastline. So hopefully more and more people will adopt that mentality, at least for the 2021 season. All that said, in these areas here are starting to show some fish to come back, all out in front of these guts. Again, the water has come back, the water has warmed up. These fish are beginning to get a little bit more active. They're enjoying the warm water just as we are as well. And all these little areas here, little mouth drains up and down this San Antonio Bay shoreline, all the way down to Panther Point, has shown fish in here. Again, a lot of these are in the 12, 13, 14, all the way up to 17 to 18 inch range. Not a tremendous amount of them, but they are there, which is a good sign. There are a nice amount of redfish that are showing up in this area as well. Down on this back shoreline of Cedar, as you head into the mouth of Cedar, down the left-hand side, the back shoreline, all the way down to Texas Parks and Wildlife area, there are some nice redfish that are cruising up and down this back shoreline. The bait is a little bit scarce, and you just need to look for those. Be patient, find you some bait that's working, and then just continue to work. The one thing that's been really productive the last few days has been the topwater bite. The topwater bite has been pretty productive. These fish are starting to really feel themselves when they start hitting that topwater bite. If that begins to kind of fade away on you, pull out your double D so you can bring that bait down a little bit closer to their face, as they want to see that run across there. The paddle tails, your down south lures have worked well. Your darker versions of those have been good and productive as well. So if you don't throw it down south, that's fine. Whatever flavor that you like company wise, as long as it's a darker version, it's got a little bit of paddle to it that you can feel that vibration and make that thing work through there. A lot of this water is clear, so your clear baits will work really well in this area as well. Over here in Carlos, the fingers all along this area here, there's been some trout that are all along these deeper guts that run up and down the shell bars that through here. Again, look for your bait working through here. That's going to be the key thing that you got to continue to go with. Just because we've lost some fish along the way from the last week or so, there's still the keys that you got to have. You got to find your bait first, then you start working your area. As long as you got bait working then in your area, you're going to have an opportunity to catch fish. Continue to work this all around here, down towards Spalding. All this area here, your fish are probably going to be over your mud earlier, even though the water temps have come up. That's been the continuing trend. These fish are still holding over mud, and then they'll transition over to a little bit of shale, a little bit those deeper guts in there. Again, your darker down south, topwater bait in that 2 to 3 foot of water has been pretty productive in this area as well. Your mirrodines and soft dines have been pretty good as well. So any one of those that you want to throw, just continue to work those, be patient with it, and you'll locate some fish. All this area here around Jaybird Point all the way down to Sherman's, this little back lake entrance that goes into here, it's got a really deep gut. Focus on that early in the morning. Throw your down south in this, see what you can locate in that deeper water first. Again, the number one key is locating some bait. Make sure you got a little bit of bait that's been working in that area. Work that deeper water, work the edges of it. Throw your corkies in there as well. The sinkers have done pretty good in the mouth of this thing here. And with the water coming back, this back lake area in here, get your top water out and start working that top water bait all across through this area here. There's been a nice amount of redfish that have been cruising all up and down this back lake area. Now again, these are not just super big redfish. They're, a lot of them are lower slot, some of them are undersized. An occasional over that's in there, if you're fortunate enough to catch one of those, that'll be a lot of fun on a topwater bait. But work this whole area back in here. Find some bait that's working back in this. Find the grass line edge. Throw that topwater all back in there. If you got a paddle tail and you can work it a little bit better, then throw that paddle tail in there as well. St. Charles Bay, all on this shoreline over here, from Bird all the way up to Egg Point. Just work this whole shoreline. Get in about thigh deep water, work this continual area, throwing a topwater bait, throwing a double D, throwing your suspended bait, whichever one that you like. It doesn't really matter at this juncture. There's a nice amount of redfish that are working up and down the shoreline. There's a decent amount of bait that's working on this shoreline as well. There's some scattered trout. Again, they're all in that 13 to 16, 17 inch range, but continue to think about that and just be stewards of the fishery and put those trout back in the water. You know, if you catch a really nice trout, then take a picture of it and throw it back. But at the same time, if you need to keep one fish, then keep one fish. But again, this area here is holding some fish. They're scattered throughout this, so you just have to be methodical. Continue to work the area. It's all got a great bottom. Again, there's your down souths have been good, Miradines have been good, corky, suspended baits, topwater baits, all the above have been really good in this area. Any of them will work for you. Just be patient with it and throw your baits.
Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Larry Bell.